Good morning everybody and welcome to this game between Infamous and compLexity Gaming for the Boston Major 2016. We've got the Sand King and Shadow Demon pickups from Infamous and then the Mirana and Warlock from compLexity. In the bans you will notice a very odd choice, the Leshrac being the first ban from Infamous, Drow Ranger, Timbersaw coming out afterwards, those two of course not being unusual at all. I did check compLexity's matches. I did take a look at what heroes they have played recently, and they really favor Mirana, they favor Timbersaw, they favor Kunkka. I have not seen them pick Leshrac at all. This is a really odd ban. I would almost argue this might be a non-ban ban, where Infamous decided to ban a hero that they knew wasn't even in consideration. A hero that there was really no way compLexity even thought of picking him up. To kind of skip one of their bans in the first banning phase and put compLexity into a more difficult situation. It's kind of similar to how CDEC played against Evil Geniuses. No, the other way around. Evil Geniuses played against CDEC at the TI 5 finals. Yes, alright, I got that right. We'll talk about that in a second though. So we got the Faceless Void being picked up by Infamous as well after they banned out the Axe as their last ban in the second phase. Kunkka coming out from compLexity. As I already mentioned, they really like that Kunkka, they really like Mirana. In fact, compLexity doesn't seem to have that big of a hero pool. Not because they don't have the ability to play other heroes, but they seem to really heavily favor a very select bunch of them, right? Again, Kunkka, Mirana, Timbersaw, and actually Morphling falls into that as well. They really like Shadow Demon, didn't get him this match though. But yeah, anyhow. Legion Commander coming out from compLexity. Now this is an odd choice. Not only does Legion Commander not do particularly well against Terrorblade from my experience, it's kind of hard to get the duel. You know, Terrorblade plays the keep away game, so it can be pretty tricky to get that. If you manage to pull it off, well, even then you don't actually deal that much damage to him because Terrorblade has insane armor, right? So, a bit of an odd choice. I mean, she does have the ability to nuke down illusions very easily with the Q, and that might be why they picked her. But it's also, you know, something you gotta keep in mind is you're going up against a Shadow Demon, right? If there's a duel, Shadow Demon can just jump in, grab the Legion Commander or the hero that she is dueling and just disruption them. And all of a sudden the duel is completely interrupted and there's nothing that's gonna come from it. So it's really weird, honestly. Very odd pickup. I think they just wanted the overwhelming odds to deal with the illusions from the Terrorblade and to deal with the illusions from the Shadow Demon. But alright. We got a Juggernaut being banned out as the last ban for Infamous, and then for compLexity, of course, we haven't talked about the Luna, Alchemist, or TA yet, but these are all fine, rather common heroes, so I don't really think we need to discuss them all that greatly. Infamous is looking at another mid, not another mid, but a mid hero, right? They need to make sure that they can secure the mid here. They could potentially pick an Invoker or an OD. I mean, those are two very powerful heroes still left in the pool. I especially like the OD here, actually. I think OD would be fantastic. Would really help with, you know, making it so that Infamous's team deals a ton of damage and is incredibly difficult to initiate on. But, oh well. Morphling coming out from compLexity. So again, as I mentioned, right, they really like the Mirana, Kunkka, and Morphling. Like, those are heroes they pick very frequently. And as you can see right here, we got the Mirana, the Kunkka, and the Morphling. so yeah, I mean, it's not really too surprising to see that picked up if you, again, know their history. Now, Mirana, very powerful hero, likely going into the mid here. We got the Morphling for the safe lane carry, Legion Commander offlane, Warlock and Kunkka as supports. So since the Mirana's going mid, Infamous is actually going to respond with an Omni Knight. Now this Omni Knight is a response to the Morphling as well, making it a little bit more difficult to get that shotgun. You know, usually Morphling wants to jump in, Ethereal somebody and then adaptive strike them for the instant kill. But that becomes a little bit more difficult if the Omni Knight is there to back anybody up with magic immunity. All of a sudden Morphling struggles quite a bit. However, Morphling is actually a hero that can quite reasonably get a Diffusal Blade. So can Mirana. And that makes it, you know, kind of like a, I don't know, it's a back and forth. Let's just call it that, right? Definitely is a back and forth where both teams really need to just play better than the other team. I guess that's generally speaking how it always is, but you know. Alright, I'm talking myself into a corner. Never mind, let's move on. Terrorblade is actually going to be our mid here, I think. We've got the Mirana going into the mid, likely. So Terrorblade is a hero that has insane starting armor, actually the highest in the game at 10. If you buy a Pullman's shield, on top of his natural higher than normal health regeneration, this guy just doesn't take any damage. So he could absolutely go into the mid and tank the Mirana. In fact, I don't think Seafreak would be able to do anything. However, it seems like the Mirana is actually going to be a support. And I gotta be honest, I believe this is probably compLexity changing up their strategy after they see that Infamous is likely to put the Terrorblade into the mid. So it will be a support Mirana, and I think it's a mid Kunkka. Yes, the mid Kunkka gonna be here to put out the damage of the Tidebringer, you know. And that is actually damage that Terrorblade can't deal with it easily. You know, if you max out the Tidebringer on cancel, that is a lot of pure damage. Again, cleave is pure. Oh, Morphling being trapped out. We got the Torrent as well, but oh, beautiful play by Stinger. Look at him. Fantastic positioning. They get the first blood. Now Shadow Demon will fall in return though. We've got compLexity around. They're trying to fight it out, but the Metamorphosis is too much. They lose another hero. And yes, Banjas, the Terrorblade, just pounding into everybody. That's just the problem with Terrorblade, right? Like, this hero always deals a lot of damage. That's a 2-for-1. And now they are fighting. Oh, the big arrow! Banjas, the Terrorblade, stunned forever. Torrent comes out as well. They get the kill. Stinger now caught out. He doesn't have any mana. He uses the Fairy Fire and he manages to survive a little while longer. Kunkka goes down as well. Oh my god, 6 kills right at the start of the game. Wow, that was a little bit silly. A little bit silly. But alright, I think everything has calmed down a little bit now, and we've got the Kunkka in the mid going up against the Faceless Void. I don't know if either team expected this to be the mid matchup while they were drafting, but it seemed like after the drafts were complete, both teams were like, alright, wait, let's rethink this, right? And I actually gotta admit, I feel like Infamous did out-mind game compLexity right here. You know, they did kind of, you know, figure out how compLexity planned this match out, did pick a counter to it, then compLexity picked the counter to that, but Infamous responded with the counter to that, right? Again, we originally thought the Mirana would take the mid, but Infamous then, you know, picked no other mid, so that compLexity thought it was gonna be the Terrorblade, but it actually was the Faceless Void. And oh my god, this is getting a little overly complicated, but alright. So let's actually very quickly talk about that Leshrac non-ban ban. What is that? The Leshrac was not banned in this game to kind of force compLexity into a little bit of an awkward spot with the usual picks and bans, you know? You often can expect a certain hero to be taken out of the game in the very first banning stage. And oftentimes those are the best heroes in the game, and both teams play around that. Now, if one team decides that, well, actually, you know what, never mind, I am not going to play around this, in fact, we're just going to let you have one of those, that can often throw over the playstyle or the strategy of one of the teams, like the other team in this scenario. As an example of something similar, at TI5 in the Grand Finals, and actually, holy shit. How? Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that one because I just didn't believe that was even possible. Okay, let's go and skip back. So we got K19 running in on a Morphling and just hits him. And he just kills him. Okay, that is just embarrassing. That should never, ever, ever happen. Right? But the Morphling goes down to a solo Omni Knight while he has a Warlock supporting him. In the meantime, at the bottom... compLexity's nonsense is really throwing me off right now. Alright, this down here is a little bit more along the lines of what you would expect, so down goes the Legion Commander. Sorry, I gotta be completely honest with you. I did not see this coming at all, because this should not happen, right? This is just kind of inexcusable, but alright. I guess so be it. So anyway, in the TI5 Grand Finals, at the time, the Shark was the most powerful hero. Funny how it's also the Shark, but the Shark was by far the most powerful hero. And he was picked or banned 100% of the time for the entire tournament, right? Oh, this is where the funny thing comes in, though. EG decided to not ban the Shark. Instead, they banned a different hero, which is essentially a non-ban ban, because the Shark was that scary, right? The Shark was such a powerhouse. However, as a result, CDEC felt forced to pick LeShark. But they weren't a LeShark team. They didn't play that hero. In fact, they had played LeShark exactly never for the entire tournament up to that point. And so they decided, well shit, we can't let them have LeShark, that just doesn't work. But we didn't ban it, because we thought they would, and they just let it slip through. So they picked him, and then they lost, because they simply did not practice LeShark that much, right? And I feel like this is kind of a similar situation, where Infamous banned LeShark, ironically enough, but banned LeShark, and gave compLexity that well, I mean, well, that's actually unexpected, and we're a little unsure how to deal with this, right? It's a very risky strategy, very unusual as well, but it does have a precedent, right? It has been seen before to different extents as well, right? The CDEC EG set is not the only example of this. So we got the Omni Knight solo top lane, and he's just destroying compLexity. He's actually about to get another kill on Melons. The arrow comes flying in, misses. So, actually never mind. I think K19 will fall right here. Wow, that was very close. Almost got the kill on the Warlock. So, they managed to avoid that disaster. But this top lane is definitely not going the way compLexity wants it to. The Omni Knight is out farming the Morphling. The Omni Knight killed the Morphling. This is just not good for the Radiant. In the mid lane, we've got the Faceless Void. By the way, the invisibility isn't real. It's just replay bugs again. Right, I got the Faceless Void going up against Cancel, who just missed the Torrent, but that's okay. Those things can be a little bit tricky to hit, especially on heroes that can leap away. But oh, at the bottom we got a big gank again. Actually, K19 coming in as well. I mean, this is the off lane, right? Things are going to happen here. And Cancel gonna be going for the Faceless Void again. They got the Torrent. Oh, that was so close. I feel like he can actually be a little bit more precise. Like, he could definitely be a little bit more precise with his Torrents there. He is pulling the Faceless Void back pretty early with the Axe. And, I mean, that is something you can be incredibly precise with, right? And I feel like if he was a little bit more precise, then actually the Faceless Void wouldn't be able to leap out. And, oh, we got the Shadow Demon kind of in an awkward spot, but Stinger here to help him out. Stinger gonna take down the Mirana, but now Shadow Demon will fall to the Shadow Word from the Warlock. Melons is kind of... he's kind of around. He's looking for something. But he'll be just okay with chilling. Yeah. Seems like that's gonna be the end of that. Taking it slow, you know. He doesn't really want to run in right there. It is scary. Warlock is tanky, but Warlock is not that tanky, right? Top lane, by the way, it's insane how incredibly powerful this Omni Knight is right now. That creep just barely blocking the arrow, but yeah, this Omni Knight is a definite issue, right? That's definitely a problem. And look at that, he runs in, puts down that purification, and it's so much damage. It is so much damage. Right now, right, purification is about, well, it is 270 damage, now it's gonna be 360. 360 pure damage, that's the equivalent to 500 magic damage. Right, it's just insane, and they get the Morphling. Right, and that didn't take very long at all. You just got the Stinger coming in with the Sand King Burrow Strike, and stack the heal on top of that, and down goes the Morph, right? That is not good. This is not good at all. And honestly, compLexity, they really gotta change something up because this is not working. The only lane they really got going for themselves is the mid. The Faces Void got arrowed. Boat? Oh, okay, he's not gonna throw it. Yeah. I mean, he could have gone for like some insane prediction play, but he chose to not do that. Torrent? No, we got definitely the thought, but it seems the attempt will not actually come through. Omni Knight in the meantime diving deep. We got Moo here with the duel ready, but the Omni Knight ultimate coming out. Guardian Angel will keep K19 safe for a little while, but there we go off the duel with the boat, and that's a dead priest. The Omni Knight falls, and well, that's a good start for Legion Commander right here. And I feel like Moo is actually kind of transitioned from what we expected to be the offlane into their position 1 carry right now. It's just really odd. He does have the second most last hits on the team. If we look at the net worth, yes, Kunkka is quite a bit ahead. But the Legion Commander is actually still beating the Morphling. And the thing you need to keep in mind here, right, is how these heroes function. A Legion Commander with with the same amount of money as a Morphling, in the early game, right, when the net worth is lower, is going to be more powerful than the Morphling. In the very late game, when the net worth is higher, then of course the Morphling will be more powerful. However, right now, the Legion Commander is actually the scary hero. She went for face boots as well, combined with the wind lace. That actually enables her to get pretty reliable duels. You know, she can run in, charge somebody down, get the duel, and you know, simply running in, right, is gonna be enough for this. So that's quite scary. I expect her to be active now. Buy space. That's really the big thing here. Another cool thing about the Legion Commander, actually, we saw it right there. Usually one of the big issues with Kunkka is, of course, hitting all of his abilities. They can be a little bit tricky to connect with. However, duel them, keep him on blaze for 5 seconds, and then that takes care of it. Up at the top, we got the Terrorblade pushing a little bit, but doesn't really feel like committing to anything as he should, because there's really no reason to do that. He's working on his Dragonlance right now, and Terrorblade should just chill. Right, like that is really the big thing about this hero. Right now, his priority should be to make sure he gets a lot of money. Another thing I brought up earlier, by the way, look at Terrorblade. He's got 19 armor right now. 19 armor. I mean, that's like, good luck killing that guy, right? Like, good luck taking him down if you don't burst him down with magic. Oh, cancel. He dodges the Burrow Strike. He's not gonna X. Stinger boat. Oh, that's going to miss. Shadow Demon disruptions him out, but the duel will still be enough to get the kill on the Sand King, and this is that actually ended up working out worse for Infamous than it would have if the Shadow Demon had done nothing. If the Shadow Demon had done nothing, the bolt would have just straight up killed the Sand King, of course, right? But this way, Moo. Oh, nice arrow! K19. He is probably too tanky to jump. I mean, he does have the buckler giving him a lot of armor. He's Omni Knight, so he's got some decent HP just naturally. So, wow, that was a bit scary. That was definitely a bit scary, but Omni Knight will end up being fine here. And I think he's got a complete mecha. Wow, that is actually just terrifying, right? That is so early. A bit of a problem, honestly. Omni Knight is scary. Faces Void, by the way, also doing pretty well. Picks up the Perseverance. Of course, this could be a Battle Fury, but we all expect the Lincolns, of course. Makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, it's a very good item. Makes it so he can deal with the X. You know, usually a very difficult ability to deal with, but in this match, he will be able to just kind of like, you know, not get hit by that. And then if you think about what other single target spells there are, we've got the Shadow Word, which is unlikely he'll get hit by because it got such a low range, right? So I don't expect that. Also in fights, you know, you expect the Shadow Word to go on an ally. You expect Melons to cast it on one of his team's heroes, because that simply is, you know, the more efficient way of using that ability. So, oh, actually, where's he going? Oh, he's just slowing down K19. Well, Omni Knight certainly knows that that is not the real one, but he'll still kill it, just making sure that the Morphling doesn't get that mobility. But still, you know, the Shadow Word is not really something you need to worry about. Yes, the Fatal Bonds could just trigger it, but alright, I guess. Morphling, however, of course, the stun gun. Not the stun gun, the shotgun, sorry. The shotgun. That's something worth blocking. We already talked about the X. And then, of course, the duel. Lincoln's is going to be a very powerful item in this game, and I would be very surprised to see anything other than that. Terrorblade, of course, he's got his Dragon Lance now. Alright. Got a little bit of a push at the bottom. And this is the power of that Terrorblade, you know. This is definitely a hero that can apply some powerful, scary pressure in the early game. Just he deals so much damage, right? And especially those illusions, man. Those things hurt bad. Right now, he's sitting for 200 damage, which is just straight up insane. Melons is coming in. Oh, he gets scouted out. We got the Shadow Demon ultimate. Bob comes out. The boat Stinger crashes into the ground. Alright, Shadow Demon gets dueled and will fall. Oh, the mecha! The heals! K19 keeps his team alive! The big Chronosphere! And now Legion Commander will drop to the Faceless Void. That's gonna be one kill. In the meantime, the Mirana also goes down. Cancel, still standing strong, trying to get something done with those Tidebringers, but now he needs to retreat himself out, actually. Wow, Terrorblade dropping low. In the meantime, the Faceless Void still wrecking shit on the other side, and is now going in on cancel. Actually, we got the Morphling here as well. Huh? Got the Stinger ultimate. Morphling taking a lot of damage. He does have his replicate ready though, so he'll be able to just get himself out. Yeah, I honestly... Oh, okay, there we go. Alright. I don't see any way how Infamous gets that kill. Now, cancel, he's in a little bit more trouble, but he should also be fine. Alright, so in the end, Infamous does win that fight, but that was pretty close to a turnaround. That was definitely a scary moment for both teams. And the Legion Commander, by the way, we saw the Blink Dagger being picked up a little bit earlier, and that is definitely a valuable item. Look, Legion Commander has one item build, which is Blink Blade Mail. Right, and then probably BKB. So that's exactly what we expect to see this game. It is kind of, I would almost say objectively speaking, the best item build you can go for on this hero. Just Blink Blade Mail. It's so simple and so good. Alright, so yeah, we'll be very surprised to see anything other than that. Faceless Void, by the way, he is very close, very, very close to his Lincolns. In fact, he's feeling very confident right now, so it seems he's not even gonna pick up the stat boosting item. You know, doesn't want to drop any of his other stuff. No, man, no. I'm not gonna die right now. I'm a fucking god. You know, I don't need to worry about anything. So let me just go ahead and I'll make sure I get that item. But let me get it in full. Gotta blink forward on the Omni Knight. Omni Knight is very tanky. Bow and arrow! Oh god. Yeah, there's no way you could possibly be tanky enough for that. Faceless Void. Oh, this is kind of where the cockiness might hurt him a little bit. We got our Faceless on the run. He should be fine though. I mean, that is a tanky hero. And he will be okay. And now he does actually have all the money he needs for the Lincolns. Just needs to be able to get the courier to the secret shop, and then that's gonna be the end of that. Armlet coming out for Kunkka. Armlet, of course, a very powerful item for this hero, very popular as well. I personally always prefer the caster Kunkka builds, honestly. Even if you're going into the mid, I think going for Aghanims is really sick. Veil of Discord, Blink Dagger, that's what I like to build on Kunkka. However, don't take this as me saying that this build isn't good. This build is very powerful. Alright, if you can go in there, get those huge cleaves with the Tidebringer, that can win a game instantly. Alright, and it is actually gonna be a way around all of those you know, damage resistances coming out from Infamous. Simply a way to burst people down, a way to burst down illusions. It's just very powerful, right? It's really that straightforward. However, so is Boat, so is Aghanims, Aghanim's is actually super good on Kunkka. Something a lot of people don't realize is, you know, it sounds a little bit silly with the Kunkka boat. It's just like, well, this doesn't really add any damage now, does it? No, no. What the Aghanims for Kunkka does, though, is it guarantees you hit something with it, you know? Previously, the Kunkka boat is, okay, you select an AoE and then you just hope people inside of that AoE. You know, there are people inside of the AoE when the boat gets there. Now you select a line and everything in that line is gonna get hit. And that's actually so much more powerful, right? I've got a boat, Torrent. Oh, they're going in on this one. Faces Void, Lincoln's. While he does have it, it was on cooldown. So he will be able to get the dual move. They drop Bob as well. They actually really want to get out of there. Or maybe fight this even some more. Cancel this around. The Mirana ultimate, making them all invisible. Stinger is just going to stun up Bob. And Mo is sitting at the side here. The Mirana ultimate is going to end in a second. Oh! They hit another arrow! No! Oh god, the Tidebringer takes out the Shadow Demon. Stinger comes in with the big epicenter, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. Now it's just Benjas. He knows it's over. He knows there's nothing he can do to escape that. And that's a team wipe. All of Infamous goes down. And nobody from compLexity. That is the literally worst thing that could happen. It doesn't get any worse than that. Now we do have the Faces Void around. Nice! The first hit bash on Sea Freak. But I don't think he'll be able to get that. Oh, okay. The Chronosphere is going to secure the kill. Making sure he gets at least one. Actually pretty close on that one. And now he's gonna leap himself out. Lincoln's is triggered. The boat comes out the door! And the one goes down a second time. Oh god, Stinger's here as well. Shadow Demon's actually now on the run and he might go down. The Tidebringer secures that kill and now Sand also on the run. He does have his Blink Dagger though, but wow. That is really bad. Sorry. That is really bad for Infamous. Losing the Faces Void twice like that. I mean, that is a huge swing. Look at this. They were actually winning. And then it just... Oh, God. That is such a huge drop right there. But, I mean, that's Dota for you. Make one mistake and the game is over. Blade Mail's now ready on move. So he's looking quite powerful with that. Cancel, by the way, doing the little... X marks the spot trick right here, sending the Warlock back to the base, making sure he heals himself up. And almost has a Daedalus actually. Wow. So he's definitely committing to that right click build. No Shadow Blade either, no Blink Dagger, just saying, you know what, I'm gonna run in, I'm gonna get big cleaves. I'm just gonna do it the good old fashioned way of walking in. No need for Blink Dagger, no need for any of that nonsense. And sure man. That's the Kunkka dream, right? You run in, you punch a guy, and everything behind it dies. So, why the hell not? Oh, Shadow Demon, they run into compLexity right there. As luckily the sentry was down. Shadow Demon's actually gonna try to fight this, but there's no real backup around. Actually, K19 is here. He does have the magic immunity for the time being. Benjaz also around. We've got the Faces Void hiding in the trees, going for the Diffusal Blade, it seems. Now, leap forward. There is actually an observer on the ground over here from the Dire, though. So, Mu jumps in. Oh, the Chrono only catches the Legion Commander, but that might be enough. They get Mu. Melon standing in the middle of this. Faces Void just pounding into him. He just wants that kill. And he's gonna get the Warlock, but it will take quite a while. Bob is here now. Bob is scary. And Morphling is on the run a little bit. I mean, he's fast with his TP boots, also picking up a Lincoln's now. Torrent flies, connects on a Terrorblade yet again. Cancel coming in. Gets the X, gets another Tidebringer on Benjaz, but I don't know if he's got enough to actually secure any more kills. Arrow, oh no! The Terrorblade goes down. We got the Morphling jumping forwards. He's gonna kill the Shadow Demon as well. The Adaptive Strike flies and Cancel goes on a wicked 6 streak with that kill. Man, those arrows from Sea Freak just carrying the game right now. Absolutely, absolutely. It's just, that is exactly why compLexity likes these heroes, right? You see the Kunkka and the Mirana. They're just so powerful to get a Kunkka, make sure you can connect with anything really, right? The X is just such a valuable ability. So you throw out the X, arrow comes flying in, and And you gotta kill. I mean, who can survive that? I mean, it's just a lot of damage with those spells alone. And then you also consider, oh, wait a second. That Miranda can right-click you and can use Starfall. Oh god. No, that's just a little bit problematic now, isn't it? Shadow Demon is here. He's got himself some mana boots. We haven't actually talked much about items. So we've got Sea Freak with almost an Aghanim's complete. Very good. Very powerful, of course. The Morphling, who has got himself the Lincolns and the Boots of Travel. That's a pretty aggressive build, honestly. So I would expect an Ethereal Blade now. Just straight in Ethereal Blade. Makes sense to me. Right, it kind of goes along the same line of thinking. Warlock working on the mecha. Actually, very close. Is it on the courier? Oh, no, that's the Daedalus. Alright. But talking about Daedalus, of course, we got that almost complete on cancel here. So that's quite powerful as well. On the other side, we got the Blink Dagger on the Sand King. Not much else, but at least that. Terror Blade, he's got himself the Dragon Lance and now working on the Manta style, I suppose. Alright, I'm actually not sure if that's the right way to go here. No, Manta style is the... Okay, you know, we're playing Terror Blade, we get Manta style, right? Yes, of course. But sometimes you just gotta say, fuck it, man, I need some more HP. Right, and... But then again, Manta style is really good. And it's just really powerful on Terror Blade. The synergy is fairly obvious, you know, with the Metamorphosis. You transform those. You get even more illusions with the Shadow Demon, of course, but... It's just the other side has so many powerful abilities that allow them to deal with those illusions. I mean, the Kunkka comes in and just cleaves them down and boats them down. You've got the Morphling with the Waveform, the Overwhelming Odds, which actually end up being quite relevant in these fights, you know? So, I don't know. K19 is here. It's got actually a pipe now. So the not the Morphling, the Omni Knight has definitely dropped off, by the way. I know he had a great early game, but yeah, that's just the weakness of this hero. He just can't farm. No, that's a problem with Omni Knight. Actually, I've got an arrow connecting on K19 here. Well, seems like Infamous, they still wanna go. Got the Faceless Void in front. Smoke revealed twice, of course. Oh, nice, the courier kill. But over there, we got a duel on the Omni Knight. K19 will fall. That's a good pickoff. Faceless Void dodges the arrow, but he's just taking so much damage. Gets out of the boat, though. He'll be fine for the time being. Purchase off the Shadow Word, and is gonna leap himself out. Nice, good timing yet again. Always making sure he has that ready. And he's still on the run, though. Running into enemy territory. This is just not going well for the Faceless here. Honestly, I mean, he's dead. Ooh, Infamous definitely got themselves into an awkward spot right there. They lose the Omni Knight, they lose the Faceless Void, and that's... I mean, the Faceless Void has just died so many times recently. He's not making the progress he needs to make, right? Like, this is really a hero that, if you're gonna play him as a core, he needs to get some items. A Faceless Void played as a core that doesn't have items really just isn't that valuable. Because it's an entirely different item build. Right? Like if you're playing him as an offlaner, you're gonna get your Vladimir's, you're gonna get your Blink Dagger. If you're playing him as a core, you can see even for the Lincolns into the Diffusal Blade, that's two entirely different item builds, and that difference really hurts if you can't make use of it. Oh, they get another duel here. Omni Knight goes down yet again. And that's 100 bonus damage on the Legion Commander. She's starting to hurt a lot. Picking up a Dragon Lance, so going for the Hurricane Pike here, I assume. Okay. Got the buff on the Morphling, who's just pounding into that tower. Almost got his Ethereal Blade, of course. And, alright, Lincoln's was triggered. Seems like he's just gonna waveform himself out, though. He has a full magic stick. Oh, the Morphing starts. Doesn't have a lot of mana, though, and seems like the Morphling will actually fall here. Definitely an overcommitment from compLexity. They went in a little bit too deep. You know, makes sense too, because they're feeling confident right now. You know, they won the last few fights, and now it's just time to let's go and push. Now let's go and do something, and that's when overconfidence happens. You know, that's where that comes from. Roshan gonna be attempted from Infamous. They should be able to do this actually. I mean, Terrorblade deals a lot of damage. They got the Faceless Void as well. So they're just gonna be pounding into this. I really want to see BKBs. Right, Terrorblade needs a BKB, Faceless Void needs a BKB, absolutely. Yes, you have the Omni Knight, but you can see compLexity is targeting the Omni Knight. They are not letting him do what he wants to do. So, since you know this, don't rely on him, right? Just say, okay, you know what, they're gonna deal with the Omni Knight, that's fine. Let me just get a BKB anyway, right? I really, really want to see the BKB. I don't think anything else would really do him any favors. And then there's also the fact, of course, that Omni Knight can't make 2 units magic immune. Right? Just doesn't work that way. And that's what you're gonna need to soon, because Morphling's about to have his Ethereal Blade, and that's gonna start hurting. Mirana, of course, got her Aghanim, so that's a lot of damage. Almost a Blink Dagger, which makes her Aghanims a reliable source of damage during fights. That's, of course, huge. Right? That is such a huge difference. And, you know, Kunkka, I mean, that much is fairly obvious, right? Who, by the way, seems to be going for another Daedalus. That's my item build, man. It's my item build. I like it. Hey! Okay, let me go and explain this. I know Critical Strike says it doesn't stack, right? If you look at, well, not these 2 items, but if you look at any critical striking ability, then it doesn't stack. And that's the usual mentality. You know what? You cannot stack Critical Strike. However, that's not entirely accurate. The way Critical Strike works is you attack a guy, right? And then the game checks your most powerful Critical Strike. It checks for that. Right? It does the roll for it. And if that one connects, then that one connects. If that one doesn't connect, then the game checks for your next most powerful one. Right? For your second most powerful one. If you have a third one, after that one doesn't connect, then it checks for the third one. And if the third one doesn't connect, then it checks for the fourth one, and so on. Right? So if you get 2 Daedalus, yes, it doesn't straight up increase your crit chance to, you know, I don't know, 60%. But it does increase it. I think it goes up to 45 or something like that. Which is pretty powerful, honestly. Right? Especially on a Kunkka, who's trying to get those huge cleaves. It's just gonna go down here now and continue farming. But yeah, that's kind of the logic there, right? And if your entire strategy is to run in and get that huge Tidebringer, which is just gonna cut down an entire team, you know, if you get those 899 damage crits on their team, that's just gonna win you the fight. It's just game over with it. So if that's your strategy, stacking Daedalus is not a terrible idea. There you go. Now that stuff hurts. Stuff hurts bad. Melon's by the way, he's got his mecha done now. Yeah. About time for that. Seafreak, of course, got his Blink Dagger. Hurricane Pike on the Legion Commander. So the Hurricane Pike seems odd. Right? Why a Hurricane Pike? It's to cancel Lincolns. It's so he can jump in, cancel the Lincolns from the Void, and then still duel him. On top of that, it's just some really, really nice mobility and gives some reasonable stats. They're not amazing, they're not best case scenario, but they are reasonable. Alright, so that's the logic there. It is one of the cheaper ways of doing that, and you know, again, it just kind of gives them some reasonable stats, whereas other stuff that would cancel the Lincolns doesn't, right? You could go for yours, but I mean, the Legion Commander doesn't need a Yules, right? It doesn't help her. You could go for Basher, but that's too expensive, right? Abyssal Blade, that's far too expensive. So, it just kind of is the cheapest, most effective option. You know, it just kind of makes sense. So that's what the Hurricane Pike is for. Morphling now has the Ethereal Blade, of course. Skadi, by the way, complete on the Terror Blade. So this guy's actually getting really beefy now. No BKB. No BKB, says he doesn't need it. I disagree. I think he does. We'll see in the fight. We'll see in the fight. Right, but that is definitely a risky play. Now, I'm sure Benjas knows that. I'm sure he is aware of this. Oh, actually, we got a bit of a fight over here. They get the Faceless Void already. Dual victory. But, oh, nice. The follow-up stun. But that's going to be about the end of that follow-up. Also like that the Faceless Void did go for Blink Dagger. So he's not going to commit to a right-click carry build. He's going to say, alright, you know what? I know what I'm here for, right? I know what my point in this game is now. It is to get a good chrono. So let me get a good chrono. And that makes perfect sense. Oh, Morphling. God, that's just so rude. And he just bought some stuff. Gonna be a Yasha. So, Manta style, I assume. Morphling actually struggles a little bit against Shadow Demon. You know, you kind of don't want the Shadow Demon to run in and create illusions of you. So it's a bit of a problem. But talking about illusions. Oh no, the boat. Oh god. That is so much damage. Infamous is gonna have to retreat now. Terrorblade sacrifices the Shadow Demon's HP for his own cancel. It's coming in, and actually the Chronosphere is gonna confirm the kill on the Kunkka. That's one down. Now the Terrorblade is dueling the Legion Commander right now. A fairly fair fight, and seems like actually Mu will lose. He goes down, and Benjasi still looking strong, pounding into cancel now, gets credit though, and one more crit is gonna do it. Finally, the Terrorblade goes down. In the meantime, up at the top, we got Morphling pushing. Stinger's going in on this, but Stinger knows how scary this guy is. I mean, we've got the Morphling already taking down K19. You know, kind of a bit of a problem. If Blade is going to be ready in a second, and he gets a kill. That's just how it goes, man. You got to respect that. Alright, Morphling on the run now, of course. Oh, the arrow connects. That's a kill. That's another kill. Yup, and we've got the Faceless Void now trying to fight it out, but that won't happen, and down he goes. And that's everybody dead on Infamous, and that might actually just be game right there. I mean, oh god, that is kind of a complete disaster. And yeah, I mean, that's a dead barracks. That's for sure. I mean, just Omni Knight can't defend. There's no way. Actually, he's got to get up. Oh, he's dead. Magic Immunity isn't ready. We've got a bunch of stuns stacked on top of each other. Omni Knight goes down. And compLexity will take this game. Surprised that there wasn't a GG call yet. But I get it. Alright, like you don't want to call GG early, but this isn't early. Those last few fights, they just completely threw it away. I mean, they still had a shot, honestly, right? They weren't doing that bad, but now it's over. So you can see Infamous is still trying to fight it out a little bit, but they just don't have enough heroes. They really don't. They're gonna try to maybe get something done with the Terrorblade, but they just feed another duel and the GG is cold. So that's it. Oh, well, that's an interesting end to this game. Can't say I expected that, but sure. Alright. Cool. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed that video. compLexity takes that match. But yeah, if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to leave a rating on the video. We'll definitely appreciate that. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.